Hi everyone, hello, how are you doing? So welcome to another video of chapter 11, that is enhancement in food production. Up till now we were talking about plant breeding and different methods under plant breeding like tissue culture, micropropagation, mutational breeding, hybridization techniques. Okay, for the main objective was to increase good crop yield, disease resistant crops, having good healthy plants and uh, good vigor plants. Okay, now we move to another section of the chapter wherein there is enhancement in the food production, and you get these products, something known as single cell protein, biofortification, and we will also touch upon now animal breeding. Okay, now what is single cell protein basically? Now this is one of the product, or what you say, something which is developed to meet the increasing demand of nutritional supplements. Okay, to meet the demands of nutritional supplements. Usually, single cell proteins are used in underdeveloped countries to meet the demands of nutritional deficiencies that happen in those population. Okay, so to fight back with this, scientists and what biotechnologists and botanists have come up with this single cell protein, which is edible form of nutrient supplements, which can be taken up by populations which are malnourished, or do not have enough nutritional supplements from food sources. Okay, so basically it's an alternative source of protein available, made available for both animals and plants. Sorry, animals and humans. So it's not like that only humans need nutritional supplements. Even animals' nutritional requirements can be met. Mostly protein requirements can be met by the single cell protein. Okay, this single cell protein is actually made or extracted from microorganisms. Okay, from microorganisms. They are taken from microbial cultures, either dead or dried cell biomass of the microorganisms. So edible unicellular microorganism can also be defined as single cell proteins. These microbes which are used as SCP, they are very, very rich in protein. Okay, and we know that protein is one of the building blocks of body of living individual. So hence it is used as supplements. So one of the richest source of protein, mineral, fats, carbohydrates, and vitamins is this spirulina. Okay, which is widely used as as a single cell protein for meeting the nutritional deficiencies of population. Okay, it can be taken in the form of dried powder or tablet form, green color tablet form. Yes, so spirulina is basically okay, it's a kind of microorganisms that is grown. It's like it is breeded in a particular setup. Okay, and at an industrial setup, and then the cells are harvested, they are dried, cleansed, and then marketed as these protein supplements, nutritional supplements. You have other microorganisms like algae, fungus, yeast, bacteria. Even they have very high protein content. Okay, so these microorganisms you can grow on a large scale, and like agricultural, and they require very simple raw material for their growth, like waste agriculture produce, or the sugarcane bagasse that is obtained after removing sugarcane juice. So all these inexpensive substances can be used for producing these microorganisms on a larger scale. Okay, like wood shaving, sawdust, corn cobs, sugarcane molasses, even human and animal waste can be used to produce these microorganisms which are rich in protein and these nutrients. Okay, so you can imagine the manufacturing cost is so cheap. Okay, so the microorganism will utilize the carbon and all the energy which is there in the raw material, and then they will grow and multiply, and then you can separate the microorganism, purify it, dry it, and either in the powder form or tablets form, it can be marketed. Yes. So some of the other examples of single cell proteins are you know, fungi, Aspergillus niger, Trichoderma viridae. In the yeast, you have Saccharomyces cerevisiae, Candida utilitis. In algae, you have Spirulina species, Chlorella pyrenoidosa. Okay, in bacteria, you have Methylophilus, Methylotropis, and Bacillus megastereum. These are some of the organisms which are used as single cell proteins, which are used as nutrition supplements. One of the major advantages that they are these methods will reduce the environmental pollution. So you are benefiting a lot, and in also you are not harming the pollution. You get it very easily without investing a lot. These nutrition supplements can be manufactured on a larger scale. Okay, moving to the next part of the enhancement in food production is biofortification. Biofortification means what? You are adding additional nutrients. Okay, for example, just give me a minute. So what happens in biofortification? Basically, the traditional produce that you get, okay, you have grown, let's say, a wheat in the farm, and then you harvest the wheat and you process the wheat and you obtain the wheat seeds. Now, in the processing, many of the nutrients are lost, okay. So at the processing point, there are certain nutrients which are added artificially, what you can say, like man-made intervention is required over here. So you add additional nutrients to the wheat. Let's say now you get the cereal with added nutrients, so more nutrients are there in the wheat, which will give you dietary supplements, okay, which will give you good health. So um, sorry. So this is basically I was talking about the traditional fortification method. Um, Traditionally, that is before biofortification, traditionally what used to happen is the plant that is produced in the crop in the field, those crops are artificially added with nutrients, and that is how you get the more nutrients crop. Now in biofortification, so that was by mistake, that this is a traditional fortification method. In biofortification, you are making the changes at the grassroots levels. Okay, so what are you going to do is you will do genetic modification at the uh, growth level only, okay, as and when the plant is growing. So you select those hybrid varieties of seeds which are having genes which will produce more nutrients, okay. So you breed plants and select those with higher nutrient levels, okay. So you will select wheat varieties which will naturally, they have this inbuilt gene variety which will have a higher nutrient level. Or if you don't have one, you will produce by genetic modification. You will insert genes in the, let's say, wheat crop, which will help you in producing more nutrient in the wheat. And then you get these hybrid varieties of plant naturally, because you used genetically modified wheat seeds. So automatically the final produce that you get will have high levels of nutrients. So even if during the processing some of the nutrients are lost, you will have certain good amount of significant amount of nutrients which will be left in the produce, which can be then used as dietary supplements and etc etc. Okay, traditionally what was happening, the normal nutrients with which the crops were grown, during the processing, some of the nutrients and significant amount of nutrients are destroyed, or they get washed away sort of. Yes, so only very little amount of nutrients is left in the cereals. But due to biofortification, you are producing plants which are inbuilt naturally. They have inherent property of producing more nutrients. So even if some of the nutrients is lost during the processing, there is still significant amount of nutrients which is carry forward, and then it reaches your body. Okay, this was another method of enhancing food production. Now another more important for enhancement in food production is animal breeding. Yes, up till now we have discussed with respect to plants. Now we move to discuss with respect to animals. So we are all aware of what is animal husbandry. Yes, wherein breeding of animals are done. You grow animals on farm. basically to increase the yield of the animals and improving the desirable qualities of the products that we get from the animal, like meat, eggs, okay, all those stuff. Yes. So a significant aspect of the animal husbandry is also to do with animal breeding. So animal breeding is simply to increase the yield of the animals, just like plant breeding, wherein you are increasing the crop yield, good quality crops, disease resistant crops. In similar manner, you are increasing the yield of the animals. You are introducing desirable traits into the animal so that the animal is having good immunity, is resistant from any kind of diseases, and as such. Okay, so the word breed, okay, is basically defined as the group of animals that are related by the features, size, configuration, and general appearance. Okay, let's say you have uh, X breed type of a dog, Y breed type of a dog. So you define that based on how do they look, what is their size, what is their general characteristic, appearance, etc. Okay, so this animal breeding is done for getting, improved breeds, improved variety of animals, okay, which will have your desirable traits of products, okay. And let's say desirable characteristics can be increased milk quantity, good milk quality, then quality of meat or maximum yield of eggs per year, etc. So these are the some of the desirable traits that you are looking for when you are doing animal breeding. Okay, now breeding can be of many types. So we are going to the different types of breeding. Okay, so the two major categories are inbreeding and outbreeding. Now, when you do mating or crossing between the animals of the same breed, okay, between the same breed, same family, let's say, then inbreeding. And if you are crossing or mating animals between animals of different breeds, then that will be outbreeding. Okay, so these are the two major types of breeding techniques that is brought about under animal breeding for improving the yield of the animals and introduction of desirable traits in the animal. Okay, so we are going to see in detail regarding inbreeding and outbreeding. Okay, so before going to the types of inbreeding and outbreeding, you need to know the steps that are involved in the breeding program. So number one is the production system. That is, you need to have a good setup, okay, a good farm setup when all the protocols are labeled and all the SOPs, that is standard operating procedures, are properly mentioned. So a good production system is required. Yes, then the breeding goal for what you are breeding. So that should be clear, either for good quality milk or increased milk quantity or increased meat quality or increase you want to increase in the number of eggs. Okay, so that should be the objective should be clear. Then depending on your objective, you will collect the information regarding what phenotype animals breed you as you want to select. Then what are the different types of inbreeding options that you are looking for, the genotypes you are looking for. Then the genetic model, breeding value estimation and selection criteria. So on that basis, you will select, once you collected all the information, then you will select your breeds. Okay, and then you will try to make an estimate theoretically and practically that how much value that you want to obtain at the end of the breeding program. Yes, these are the things that you need to make clear. Then you will select and mate your selected animal breeds as male and female, and then you will carry out the hybridization mating technique. Sorry. Then once that is done, after selection, you will do the dissemination, that is crossbreeding if you want to do. So that will be carried out, and then you will select the most good quality animal breeds having new variety, genetically improved and genetically diverse animal breeds you will select and you will evaluate, and then the cycle goes on. So these are the basic steps one need to keep in mind when he is planning to do a breeding program, a breeding setup. Okay, so moving to the inbreeding and outbreeding under animal breeding. So inbreeding is basically when you cross or you mate animals which are very much closely related to each other. So that is what we mean by inbreeding. Okay, closely related animals. Inbreeding is closely related animals you cross for 4 to 6 generations. Basically, this will help you in gaining homozygosity. So a pure line is obtained, you get superior genes, then chances of getting elimination of the harmful genes are more over here. And then you get pure line homozygous animal breeds over here. Whereas in outbreeding, you are crossing isolated animals. Okay, different animals of different species you can take. Mating is done for similar breed for 4 to 6 generation. And here, if breeding is among similar breed, then there would be no common ancestor for 4 to 6 generation. So you will get a variety of animal breeds over here. Now, here the advantages when you want to maintain the homozygosity of that animal breed, you want that particular animal breed only in more quantity or in more amount. So you are trying to create a pure line. Then for that purpose, you will carry out inbreeding technique. But if you want to generate hybrid varieties, okay, different varieties, different traits of animals in the breeding program, so you will obviously do outbreeding because chances of getting desirable characters, variety of characters is more in outbreeding technique. So, for example, you want high milk production or better lactation period, etc., etc. So, outbreeding technique can be carried out. Now, disadvantage of inbreeding is that it causes depression, due to which there is a decrease in endurance and reproduction. So if you mate or cross pure lines again and again, so their gene diversity decreases, their vigor decreases, their endurance, their capability of reproduction decreases. Okay, whereas outbreeding will do the opposite. Their vigor increases, genetic variety increases, diversity increases, which causes a decrease in reproductive fitness. So basically, good vigor and good healthy animal breeds can be produced because of the genetic variability carried out due to outbreeding. Okay, so mating here is among similar species. Mating is between various different species. So inbreeding and outbreeding. So that's the major difference between inbreeding and outbreeding, underlining its advantages and disadvantages. Okay. Now in outbreeding, you have different types. Like you have crossbreeding or outbreeding or interspecific hybridization. You have one more type which is known as artificial insemination or something known as multiple ovulation embryo transfer. Those are very small topics. Main are this crossbreeding, outcrossing, and interspecific hybridization. Now, what is outbreeding? We have just mentioned that when you mate animals of different species, okay, outbreeding when you made animals of different species. Yes, so the one is crossbreeding. Now, what happens in crossbreeding? You are involving out crossbreeding. So we will discuss over here first outcrossing, and then we will go with crossbreeding. What is outcrossing? Breeding between animals of different species. Okay. It is also known as interspecific hybridization. So it also comes under the category of interspecific hybridization, wherein you are breeding two animals of different species. Okay, animals of different species. So mating of animals of same breed but no common ancestors. So no common species for 4 to 6 generations. Yes, that is outcross. Then crossbreeding is when you are breeding of superior male and of one breed with superior female of another breed. That is what is meant by crossbreeding. That is, you take two different species, you select the most superior male of one breed and the most superior female of another breed, that is the best among both the species, and then you mate the two. Okay, what you get is new animal breeds of desirable characters. Okay, example is Hizadol, as you see in the screen also. It's a new breed of sheep, which is developed from crossing Bikaneri and Merino rams in Punjab. So Bikaneri and Merino, these are two different species of sheep in Punjab. Superior ones, they are crossed and you get this third variety, which is known as Hisardale. Okay. Then you have interspecific hybridization, wherein two different but very related species. They are different species, but they are sort of related in some places. So interspecific hybridization. What do you get? You get animals with desirable traits from both the parents. Okay, but such breeding is always not successful. Like mule. You have two different species, but they are quite related. The horse and the donkey. What you get is mule. So horse and donkey is crossed, and you get a mule, which is a breed obtained from horse and donkey. So they are not successful all the time. So this is an example of interspecific hybridization. Okay, so all the outbreeding are covered over here, and then artificial insemination technique, which can be carried out. That is, you artificially inject the male sperms of the male animal into the female. Okay, the semen from the selected, what do you say, superior male is collected, and then it is preserved in the frozen state and then injected into the genital tract of the female animal. Okay, and it is useful to overcome problem of normal mating if the animals are not able to carry out normal mating, and if transportation problem is there. So artificial insemination technique is also used for animal breeding purposes. Another is something known as MOET, which is known as multiple ovarian MOET. Okay, multiple ovarian transfer. Now, this I have not, the artificial insemination and MOET, these are very similar to even human infertility treatments. In the second chapter, when we were talking about IVF and all that, so more or less, it's like that only. This MOET involves technology wherein you have successful production of hybrids. What will happen in this method? Let's say the cow is, for example, cow is administered with this hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, to increase the egg and the maturation of the follicular. That is, you are causing the cow to undergo super ovulation. Okay, and then few of the eggs mature simultaneously. Then this cow is now it is fertile and it is having good quality eggs. Now it is then ready to mate either naturally you carry out the mating with a bull or you do artificial insemination. Okay. And then this leads to embryo formation and the embryo further develops. Yes. So this is more or less like an IVF treatment. Yes, wherein human intervention is there for getting the cow to reproduce. Yes. So this is another technique which can be used. One of the reason why MOET is done for high milk, for getting high milk yielding breeds of female and high quality meat yielding bulls, which are successful by this technique. So when you want to increase the herd size and when you want to increase the population of these bulls, high quality bulls and cows with high quality milk, you can carry out multiple ovarian embryo transfer. Okay, so that's all with regards to the outbreeding and inbreeding. Okay, that is a different methods and mechanism that is used in enhancement in food under the animal category. So keep revising. If you have any doubt, you can reach out to me. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye. See you.